Part 9. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 81. Chapter 81 Shipping Cargo. Song Hanmi. I quickly thought of a way to deal with it and followed Mother Chin's arrangement. Excuse me. You're welcome. Chin's mother led the two of them to the guest room. The interior walls are slightly peeled off, and the furnishings are simple. There is only a bed and a table, and a simple coat rack stands in the corner, but it is very clean. I have wronged you today. It's okay, Song Hanmi, I said. After they left, he muttered again, how many rooms are there in the front and back of the courtyard? Are we allowed to live here? Who are you looking down on? Li Yue, now you know why I didn't choose Qin Yanxi? Because I already knew that the elders of the Qin family favored the eldest son, and Qin Yanxi's room is not much better than this one. Song Hanmi's face darkened. Don't say this, I feel bad. A skinny camel is bigger than a horse. Even if Qin Yanxi is not favored, his surname is Qin, so he can always get the benefits. The rooms here are not good. Didn't people make room for them? Where is the Feng family? A large family lives in a large courtyard without even a heater. Li Yue had no choice but to change the topic. Shall we go home early tomorrow morning? What home should we go back to? It's the same as when we went out to catch turtles in an urn all morning. Song Hanmi. I was determined to deal with Ceci's embarrassment. Quiet late at night. Deep in the forest, the sound of rushing water continued. Yang Cici raised the empty rod several times and was very disappointed. Why don't the fish bite the hook in the middle of the night? Perhaps I'm full. Qin Yanxi stretched out his hand to pull the fishing net. It's almost as good as not having 300 caddies here. How about this? Yang Cici thought about it and said, I listen to you. Don't be too greedy. After selling this batch, I will wash my hands in the golden basin. Qin Yanxi chuckled and washed his hands in a golden basin? Who taught her the idiom? The golden basin washes the fingers of evil people to give up their original illegitimate livelihood and return to the right path. Yang Cici blushed. Ah. That's it, I've written it down. Qin Yanxi immediately added, although we are not evil sects, this business is indeed not legitimate. You are not wrong. Yang Cici smiled and said, then you apologize to me. I'm sorry, Qin Yanxi said seriously. Yang Cici laughed. The two of them worked together to hide the fish in the fishing nets into sacks in batches, and took advantage of the darkness to make 2 trips into the city. The restaurant was already closed at that time. Yang Cici and Qin Yanxi found a shelter from the wind. The cold wind howled, and it was biting. Yang Cici hid in his arms. It's so cold, ACI, please hug me. Qin Yanxi was also cold. When he heard her coquettish tone of voice, he felt angry and sweat broke out on his back. As if by chance, he stretched out his hand to clasp the back of her head, lowered his head and kissed her lightly. Yang Cici's mind gradually became drowsy, and the cold air around her seemed to be less strong. After a long time, she said, ACI, I'm not cold anymore. Qin Yanxi raised the corners of his lips slightly, then come a few more times. Yang Cici covered her mouth. No, hey, the lights are on in the hotel. I'll go over and find someone to carry the goods first. She ran and knocked on the backyard door. After a while, the worker opened the door. Recognizing Yang Cici, hey, girl, it's so early. Yeah, it's too ostentatious during the day, so I can only come at night. Can you help me find someone to carry the goods? It's done. The worker called his colleagues to move the goods together. He entered the backyard and gasped, these 2 bags of things are not light. How did you 2 get them? Yang Cici, those who carry it forward and backward. The goods that were moved first were left here. What else? You 2 are so big-hearted, and you are not afraid of being picked up. End of this chapter. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 82. Chapter 82 Selling Goods. Yang Sisi smiled and said, "When will I call Master Zhao to come over to inspect the goods? I'm going to shout right now." Not long after, Master Zhao came. The fish in the outer circle are frozen, but the inside is still soft and will jump when it falls to the ground. Master Zhao ordered people to weigh it immediately and put it into the water slowly, so that the live fish tastes better. 283 kilograms, about the same. Plus the two fish from last time, 11 kilograms, the total is 294 kilograms, 735 yuan. Wait a minute, I'm going to get the money. For you guys. Yang Sisi's voice was shaking with excitement. Okay. When I got the heavy envelope, my eyes were as bright as stars. Is this all money? Have made a fortune. She counted them, the number is correct. She put the envelope in her pocket. Master Zhao was a little jealous and said, I already want to do business. Qin Yanci, not everyone has her luck. Master Zhao had to admit, yes, I have seen many business people, but I have never seen you like this. If you are in the north, you can get chicken kongs from the south. I touched a snail in winter. The fish caught when cooked brings out the fresh smell of the mountain spring. This person makes money. Yang Sisi, it's getting late, we should go back. Hey, walk slowly. After leaving the hotel, Yang Sisi said, ACI, I'll give you half. Qin Yanci refused, money can only work with you. She has wealth and knows how to use it better than he does. Yang Sisi emphasized, you don't want it, it's not that I won't give it to you. Qin Yanci smiled and responded, yet his need for her was much higher than for money. Besides, she married him. Can we do without him? The two of them separated midway. It was already dawn when Yang Sisi arrived home. Li Junlu thought she had just returned from squatting in the pit, so he greeted her, when did you come back last night? She got up very early. Have you seen your aunt? Yang Sisi said calmly, about 11 o'clock. The movie ended at 9:15, and Li Yue must have fallen asleep by this time. I haven't seen auntie. Hey, where have you been so early in the morning? Li Junlu leaned out of the yard and looked around. I have to catch an early shift today, please cook me some food. I got it. Yang Sisi went back to her room and hid the money first, then went into the kitchen and cooked a pot of noodles. Eat together with Li Junlu. After dinner, go to the bathhouse outside to take a hot bath, then go home and fall asleep. Song Hanmei, who lives in the Qin family, got up early and proposed to visit Yang Sisi in the family home. Father Qin and Mother Qin find it difficult to refuse. Qin's father was in a hurry on the first day of work after the new year, so he asked Qin's mother to handle it. Mother Qin was reluctant. On your first day at work? I don't have to go. You can send the Qin family to the family home of your unit. Father Qin pulled her aside, I am a man, so it is not convenient for me to give them away. If you do it, you women will be able to talk to each other better. One thing, I want to remind you, Sisi was not born to her biological mother. When we were engaged, she kept telling us that her daughter was highly educated and good-looking. She also said that Sisi was illiterate and had a heavy accent, which showed that she had always looked down on her. Now she suddenly became interested, which was not normal. You must guard against her making loud noises. She must not be allowed to shout about Sisi staying at the banquet in front of the neighbors, which will affect Sisi's reputation. Sisi doesn't care about her reputation, so why should you worry about it? I'm trying to take care of your son's mood. Maybe it was your son who finally coaxed Sisi down. How embarrassing is Sisi when your mother-in-law yells like this? Take your anger out on your son. It's not like you don't know your son's temper. If you go crazy, your house will be destroyed. I haven't called you mom for several years, and I will treat you like an enemy, so I ask you, can you bear it? Be careful and don't be used as a weapon. End of this chapter. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 83. Chapter 83, Unhappy. Father of Chin's words made Chin's mother in trouble again. You still know how to analyze. Father Chin smiled and said, I remember. Remember? After Chin's father left, Chin's mother led Song Hanmei and her daughter to the family courtyard. The door is locked. She knocked twice to inoculate the people inside. It's me who will give the banquet speech. After a long time, Qin Yanxi's hoarse voice came, What are you doing here? Song Hanmei said loudly, What's the sound like? UNSISI didn't sleep all night long, did you? Mother of Qin turned to look at Song Hanmei, and as old Qin expected, she scolded, My mother-in-law, it's so early in the morning, there are people coming and going in the corridor, it's so loud, who do you want to hear it? Song Hanmei patted her face lightly and whispered, Look at my mouth, mother-in-law, don't mind, I'm worried about my child getting into trouble. The words just fell. The door opens from the inside. Qin Yanxi looked sternly, Are you worried that my wife will get into trouble, or are you going to come here specifically to let everyone know that she spent the night at my place? You heard it all, Song Hanmei said with a stern expression, refusing to admit it, Sisi is also my daughter. I hope for her better than anyone else. How can I let her hide her secrets? Qin Yanxi interrupted, She's not here. After watching the movie yesterday, she went back by herself. Li Yue, we didn't wait for my sister, so we thought she was here. At this time, a neighbor passed by and said hello, sister-in-law, what are you doing standing at the door after the banquet? Who are these two? Qin's mother smiled and said, My daughter-in-law's aunt and sister, please let us go into the house after the banquet. It's very cold outside. Qin Yanxi turned around and entered the guest room, sitting upright at the desk and flipping through a book. Qin's mother followed behind and stared. The bed was neatly made and her son was the only one in the room. Your daughter-in-law is in the master bedroom. Two children sleeping in separate beds. The bed was prepared by her for the wedding. Would it be unlucky to go to bed early? She pushed open the door of the master bedroom. The quilts on the bedside were piled neatly together, and the peanuts and longans under the bed did not even change their position. She breathed a sigh of relief secretly. Li Yue and Song Hanmei had already looked around. As large as a sewing machine or as small as a toothbrush cup. As long as it can be used, it is new and obviously prepared for future life. The former is jealous. How can the latter cope with the hatred of Sisi, a born of a vixen? Your family has made all the beds, sewing machines, and televisions. What should we buy then? Qin's mother thought to herself, I heard what you want, but you're not ready yet. No wonder Lao Qin kept urging her to buy it. He had expected that Sisi would not have a dowry. At this moment, she completely believed Lao Qin's analysis. Her stepmother had no good intentions and was using her as a weapon. So bad. Let people look down upon. She said with a slight disdain, You can figure it out for yourself. I don't care if it's more or less. Song Hanmei smiled awkwardly, Then I'll prepare some clothes. No, I've prepared the latest red woolen suit. Here Qin's mother opened the wardrobe and took out a coat and skirt to show, Is this the right color? It's pure wool, very warm. She took out another one, black cotton pantyhose. Lao Qin asked someone to get this whole set from outside. It cost several hundred yuan. This wedding cost Lao Qin and I money. So, mother-in-law, Si, don't worry if Si marries into our family, she is the youngest, and we will definitely love her as our own child. Song Hanmei, this sounds really unpleasant. Are you calling her stingy? End of this chapter. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 84. Chapter 84. Nothing. Li Wei is autistic. She is several months younger than Ying Sisi. Why wasn't she treated like this in her previous life? I'll discuss it with Lao Li when I go back and see what Sisi lacks in order to regain her position. Song Hanmei gave herself a step down. Mother Qin smiled and said, "That's okay. Let's go, don't disturb the banquet and study hard." Song Hanmei twitched her lips and smiled, "Hey." 3 people left the family home. Qin's mother went to work, and Song Hanmei was still thinking about the sewing machine and other things that the Qin family had prepared for Ying Sisi. The more I thought about it, the more uncomfortable I became. I couldn't help but scold Li Wei again. "I asked you to get engaged to Qin Yanxi, but you didn't. Do you regret it now?" "Whoever regrets it, Feng Shuangzi can give me a better one. 30 years in Hedong, 30 years in Hexi. The wind and water will take turns." Song Hanmei rolled her eyes. "In another 60 years, Feng Shuangzi won't be able to turn around. Do you know why? He is too lazy. Everyone in our street knows that he sleeps until 3 o'clock in the morning and doesn't get up until 3 o'clock in the morning. A promising man like this? A capable man should be like Qin Yanxi, who can spend endless hours fooling around with Ying Sisi at night and still get up early in the morning to read. Feng Shuangzi is recharging his energy. Qin Yan resigned from him. Let me tell you, he can't do it." "How do you know he can't do it? Have you tried?" Song Hanmei was so angry that she couldn't help but speak. Li Wei was also anxious. "I just tried it and realized that it is not good. It is just like the rose in our yard. The higher the tip grows, the smaller the fork is. It has a bare head and the fork is the same as millet." Qin Yanxi and Ying Sisi were together. Even if they wanted to do anything else, they were unable to do anything else. They could only sleep with each other holding each other. If you don't believe it, look carefully at Ying Sisi's body. Girls are different from women. She is definitely a big girl. Qin Yanxi could only make Ying Sisi drool. "It's nothing." Song Hanmei focused on the key points and asked, "Have you tried it? How could you have tried it? Where did you try it?" Li Wei couldn't explain it. "You can't say she tried it in a previous life, right? She drank some wine that day and took the initiative to fight with him, which resulted in a beating and kicking. Every time she dreams back to that time at midnight, the muscles in her body still tremble. He is a devil. I tried it anyway." "Then you are his. I'll go find him." Seeing the things piled up in the house, Song Hanmei wished that Li Wei would become Ying Sisi and marry Qin Yanxi, so that she could take advantage of him. "Mom, you want to force me to death again, don't you?" Li Wei began to cry, make trouble, and hang herself. Song Hanmei was so frightened that she didn't dare to mention it anymore, but her heart was clogged and she felt even more uncomfortable. "When I got home, I found that the door to Ying Sisi's room could not be pushed open, so I banged the door hard. Ying Sisi, open the door." Ying Sisi was woken up and opened the door sleepily. She was wearing a close-fitting autumn coat and long trousers given to her by Qin Yan before her resignation, which outlined her beautiful lines. Song Hanmei looked up and down. The legs are slender and straight, and the waist is as thin as a hand's width. The top is very plump. With a figure like this, can Qin Yan attend a farewell party? Ying Sisi felt uncomfortable being looked at. "What are you looking at?" Song Hanmei's eyelids moved. "Where did you get this clothes?" "This is what a CI sent me. There's nothing to do, I want to rest." Ying Sisi didn't sleep all night and was very sleepy. Song Hanmei, "What door should I close when sleeping at home? Don't you know why it's closed?" Song Hanmei suddenly thought of Hu Niu's incident. "You didn't mention it, but I forgot." Your great aunt told me privately that it was you who strangled her. Yang Sisi did not panic at all. She has evidence and went to the police station to report it. When he mentioned this, it turned out that Huniu wanted to act like a hooligan. As for myself, all I have to do is deny it. Request for votes. End of this chapter. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 85. Chapter 85. Gentlemen. How could Song Hanmei dare to go? What if someone found out about her? She changed the subject and asked, when did you come back? I didn't remember the time. When I came back, everyone was already asleep. You have nothing else to do. Please step aside to prevent your nose from being hit when the door is closed. Yang Sisi reached out to hold the door panel and slammed the door. Song Hanmei stepped back out of reflex. Yang Sisi can be successfully closed and tied back. This girl, she has no manners at all. Song Hanmei spat. Li Yue stepped forward and said, Mom, do you see it? Where do you see it? You are making an excuse to stop me from looking for Qin Yanci. Believe it or not, Li Yue was exhausted after working in vain and went back to the house to rest. When she woke up, she remembered her promise to deliver food to Feng Shuangzi yesterday, so she immediately got up and went into the kitchen to wash her hands and make soup. Yang Sisi also got up. She was thirsty and went to the kitchen to get some water. Li Yue grabbed the rice, squeezed it into a ball, dipped it in sesame seeds and put it in the lunch box. The more you look at it, the more it looks like a dung ball pushed by a dung beetle. Can't help but laugh out loud. She knows it's wrong to laugh at others, but she can't help it. Ha ha ha. Li Yue changed her face, looked at her and said, why are you laughing? There's nothing to smile about. Yang Sisi pursed her lips. Li Yue sneered, you haven't seen it before, have you? This is called a rice ball, with sesame seeds sprinkled on top. I don't know how delicious it is. You probably haven't even eaten white rice in the countryside. Yang Sisi admitted, I have never seen or eaten it. Life in the countryside is hard, and the only food we can afford is brown rice and corn paste. Li Yue smiled and said, the hardships behind people are easy to overcome, but the dignity in front of people is the most fragile. You have no job and no education. In the future, marrying into the Qin family and interacting with people in their circle will expose your shortcomings in knowledge, and others will have to I'll laugh you to death, that's when I'll be miserable. But you don't have to worry, because Qin Yanci is also a loser, and everyone laughs at him for being better than you. She wanted to tell Yang Sisi that even if you marry into the Qin family, you will never have a good life in this life. Yang Sisi could tolerate Li Yue's contempt for her, but she couldn't bear her evaluation of Qin Yanci. You know again? You said it as if you have experienced it. Arrogant and arrogant. If you ask me, you are useless, and Feng Shuangzi is even more useless. It is other people's business to laugh at her, so why should she worry about other people's opinions? Pregnant. She knows best whether her words are good or bad. He is ambitious and ambitious. Be humble and prudent, and have a decent style. He is a true gentleman. Li Yue retorted, Qin Yanci Erkiaozi is a real loser, but Feng Shuangzi is not. He is calm and measured, and he is a person who can achieve great things. Yang Sisi chuckled. She had known that she should have learned how to turn people into errands, just like that on the day she caught Feng Shuangzi. Donkey has kicked your head for nothing in a day. Feng Shuangzi is calm. Well, he is calm, so heavy that he almost sinks to the bottom. He and you are made for each other. We are in the same boat, and we share the same bad taste. She no longer spoke to Li Yue. Opportunity, turned around and left. Li Yue, you. Stop. Yang Sisi went to the street for a stroll. Walking, we came to the blocked black market. There are not many people in the market, and the items sold are only daily necessities. Yang Cixi took a walk and bought 2 pairs of rubber gloves. Prepare to wear it when doing housework in the future. Finally, she stopped in front of the uncle selling mats. "Girl, do you want to buy a mat?" Yang Cixi spoke softly and politely. "I want to ask you, uncle, how the bicycle next to you is sold." As she spoke, she took out her cigarette case and handed it to the uncle. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 86. Chapter 86, Buying a Car. The stall owner looked at her, smiled, reached out and took out a cigarette from the cigarette case, struck a match and lit it. After taking a puff, he said, "It's not my car. Do you want to buy it?" asked the bookseller at the corner. He has a good way of collecting books everywhere. Yang Cixi thanked her and walked to the book stall. When I got there, I squatted down and flipped through the book. She has not read many books and does not know words with many strokes. I don't know what kind of book to buy that is worth the money spent. After careful selection, I picked 2 thick books with hard covers, one with a large English-Chinese dictionary and the other with a Chinese-Russian translation. I feel that after reading it, I should be able to understand foreign countries. Know thyself, ever victorious. Send it to Qin Yanxi to learn foreign culture and surpass foreigners sooner or later. Brother, how much is it? 2 cents. Yang Cixi paid the money and asked, "Have you read all these books?" "I haven't read it." "Girl, if you have anything to say, just say it, no need to beat around the bush. I spent a long time and chose 2 books that no dog would read. Something must be wrong." Yang Cixi was a little embarrassed. "Can you get a bicycle ticket?" "I'm willing to pay for one." "Yo, you've found the right person. I have a lot of tickets in my hand. It's 5 yuan a piece, can you buy it?" "Buy it," Yang Cixi simply agreed. "Don't say 5 yuan, she would also be willing to pay 10 yuan. The other party immediately found the ticket and said, "Take this and go to the bus dealer to choose a car and pay for it." "Thank you." Yang Cixi gave the money and got the ticket. Going straight to the bike dealership, I caught a glimpse of the bicycle near the door. Asked softly, "Hello, brother, how much does this car cost?" The salesperson raised his eyelids slowly and saw that the girl was beautiful, well-behaved, and lovable. His eyes lit up, and he immediately stood up and introduced enthusiastically, "This car is a new model, permanent, and costs $200. Girl, do you want to buy it for work?" Yang Cixi nodded vaguely. "Yet if it is said to be a dowry, others will laugh at it, right?" "Have you brought your ticket?" Yang Cixi took out the ticket. After reviewing it, the other party found a form for Yang Cixi to register, then paid for the car and registered it. The salesperson will accompany you throughout the entire process. When Yang Cixi was pushing the cart and preparing to leave, the other party said, "Miss Cixi, do you have a date? Do you want to make a pen pal?" "I have a partner, let me go home and ask him if he agrees." Yang Cixi doesn't mind having a pen pal. Multiple friends mean multiple paths. "Get out," wasted his feelings, "don't let me see you in the future, you little girl is a rip-off." Yang Cixi is not happy either. To be honest, who cheated him? If you don't see it, you'll see it. We met by chance, but no one seemed to care about him. Yang Cixi rode her bicycle home. After entering the alley, I met the neighbor's aunt face to face, with an empty vegetable basket hanging on her arm. She got out of the car and greeted him, "Hello, aunt." "Hey, Cixi, is the newly bought bicycle a dowry? How much does it cost? I thought your father was reluctant to buy it for you." Yang Cixi smiled. "Today is the 8th day of the Lunar New Year, and there will be a banquet during the Lantern Festival. Li Junlu didn't express any emotion at all, and it was obvious that he was not prepared to buy anything big for her. She turned and asked, "Where are you going, Aunt?" "When it comes to buying vegetables, I don't have the foresight to buy vegetables before and after your family. I have already prepared the vegetables a year ago," the aunt said with envy. She only found out today that Song Hanmi I had asked Ying Sisi to buy 300 kilograms of cabbage earlier. Leeks, celery, spinach, whatever is sold in the market, her family has them all. Also built a small cellar for storage. Ying Sisi smiled and said, "We bumped into each other by mistake. Isn't the road still clear?" End of this chapter. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 87. Chapter 87 Omnipotent. That's what the market said. "Hey, I have to grab vegetables every day. It's so annoying. I can't get the first batch in the morning. I have to wait until the afternoon and there's a limit. This guy is really cheap. I didn't love him at all before. When vegetables are not in supply, I get so greedy that I have to have them with every meal. If I don't eat them, I'll feel uncomfortable. If I don't tell you, I won't be able to buy vegetables if it's too late." Ying Sisi grabbed her and said, "Stop grabbing it. I'll get some for you." "How can this be so funny?" the aunt said, so, her lips almost reaching her ears. "Ying Sisi, it's okay, I'll take you home later." "Hey, Haole. The door of Li's house is locked." Ying Sisi opened the door, parked the bicycle and locked it, and moved the door of the small cellar in the yard. There are no green vegetables, carrots, leeks, or garlic sprouts at all. It must have been Li Yue, who secretly took it away and gave it to Feng Shuangzi. She also started to take it out. At that time, it will all be Li Yue's fault. Humph. She first took 5 cabbage heads, then a small bag of spinach, and sent them to her eldest wife's house. The aunt smiled happily, "There are so many. I always eat your food." "I'm sorry. This is wild honey brought by my relatives from the countryside. It tastes very good. I'll give it to you. Wild honey is hard to come by, and it's such a big jar. You can keep it for yourself." Ying Sisi refused. "Why are you being polite to me? Just take it." Ying Sisi took the call. The aunt said again, "We have a banquet on the 15th day of the first lunar month. Why haven't the invitations been sent to your family yet?" "Don't be in a hurry," Ying Sisi said. "You girl are so calm. I sent out the invitations a month in advance back then." Ying Sisi laughed. "But," I sighed in my heart, "what can I do if I can't calm down? Are you making trouble? In the end, you are not the one who is criticized." She sat for a while and left. After entering the house, there was still no one at home. She put away the honey, went into the room to get a bag, loaded the vegetables into the car and headed to the family home. I opened the door and went to the kitchen. I took out the 2 fish from the back window and prepared them to be cleaned and marinated after defrosting. Just put the fish into the pond. Qin Yancy walked out of the room. I thought it was Lao Qin. "It's hard to buy food outside now. How can you get so many vegetables?" "There is a way," Ying Sisi said proudly. Qin Yancy admired him. At a young age, he not only has courage, but also courage. Every time he thought that the money she earned in one day was enough for him to save for 2 or 3 years, it was incredible. "I also bought you 2 books." Ying Sisi picked up the book she had just put down from the shelf as if she was offering a treasure. Qin Yancy lowered his eyes. "Out of print English-Chinese dictionary, translated from Chinese to Russian. Bought on the black market." He had seen these books at a black market bookstall years ago. No one learns these nowadays. Purchasing privately may cause trouble if someone discovers it, and over time, no one will care about these books. Ying Sisi said loudly, "Yeah. Do you like it? Although I can't understand it, I think you can understand it? Qin Yanxi was ashamed, so it turned out that he was omnipotent in her heart. I quite like it. As long as you like it. Dot. The two of them talked more and more. Yang Sisi was still thinking about cleaning the fish, so she put on gloves and prepared to do it. I'll do it, he said. Yang Sisi, can you do it? How could it not be? After Qin Yan resigned from the job, Yang Sisi walked to the unpacked TV, touching it here and touching it there. When he saw this, he asked, "Are you watching TV?" End of this chapter. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 88. Chapter 88 Effort. Okay, Ying Sisi hadn't really watched TV yet and was full of curiosity. Qin Yanxi helped her adjust the background. Ying Sisi leaned on the chair and watched. Soon after, Qin Yanxi came over. The two of them were close to each other. Gradually the atmosphere became ambiguous. Yang Sisi quietly covered her mouth and pretended to yawn. She didn't want to kiss him anymore. Very comfortable though. But you will feel dizzy and lose your ability to think. She doesn't like herself like that. Qin Yanxi, are you sleepy? A little, 4:30, it's time for me to go home. I won't be here for the next few days. I'll see you when you get married. Yang Sisi planned to use the remaining few days to find something else. Ways to make money. I'll see you off, he said. No, I came here by bicycle. I bought a bicycle. Yang Sisi pointed to the new car parked downstairs. Where did you get the tickets? Yang Sisi said. Qin Yanxi praised, you are very powerful. If she were born into a family like his, he probably wouldn't even be qualified to see her. He also needs to work hard. Yang Sisi said hurriedly, I'm not great, but you are. You know more than me. I have a lot to learn from you. Let's go. I send you. Dot. The Li family at that time. There is a quarrel going on. The reason was that Song Hanmi discovered that the dishes in the cellar were more than half less than yesterday. She believed that the dishes had been stolen by Yang Sisi and sent to the Qin family to please her parents-in-law, so she asked Li Junlu to take care of Yang Sisi. Li Junlu needed to rely on Yang Sisi to speak kindly for him in front of Qin's father, and was unwilling to increase the conflict. Just take it, it's not like our family doesn't have anything. You don't know how expensive firewood, rice, oil, and salt are. Do you know how much vegetables cost now? Cabbage cost 5 cents a while ago, but now it has risen to 10 cents. Many people still can't afford it. The weather has been bad these days. It's not known when it will snow again and the roads will be blocked. What will we eat then? Speaking of which, Yang Sisi is 19 or 20 years old. If his hands and feet are not clean, wouldn't it be embarrassing for you to educate him? What will happen next? You think so, Yewei? Li Yewei felt guilty. Yes. At this time, there was a noise at the door. Song Hanmi was the first to leave the room, staring and speechless. I saw Yang Sisi pushing a brand new bicycle into the yard. Li Junlu's eyelids twitched. "Sisi, where did you get the car?" "Sent by a CI. Is it a gift from your father-in-law?" Li Yewei stared at Yang Sisi with evil intentions. All this time, she has ignored one thing. In her previous life, she married Qin Yanxi, and Qin's father gave her a red envelope during the Chinese New Year, but he didn't express anything. For Yang Sisi, he not only provided a house and a dowry, but even the wedding clothes were bought from outside. Is it Qin Yanxi who wants to marry a wife, or is it him? The truth is obvious, he also has a crush on Yang Sisi. Let Yang Sisi live in the family home for his convenience. Yi. Nausea. Yang Sisi said again, "It's a CI." Li Yewei smiled contemptuously, "Is Qin Yanxi rich? Who are you looking down on? I have been working on the farm for 10 years and I get paid every month. You have just worked for a year and you can wear a mink. Why can't you buy a bicycle? Yang Sisi gave Li Yue a knife. He continued, it's my fault that dad has been slow to prepare my dowry. Yancy was worried that I would marry too shabby and be looked down upon by others, so he bought me a bicycle with his own money, and even bought me a disaster. Li Junlu was so ashamed that he immediately became angry and said, there are still a few days until the wedding. Why are you so anxious? Well, I'll return the bicycle and you can buy a new one. Yang Sisi deliberately set the trap. If Li Junlu succeeds, he must buy her a bicycle. Not buying it means admitting that she has never considered her dowry. Request for votes. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 89. Chapter 89. Happy. Li Junlu suddenly became silent. Song Hanmi, I thought about it and was afraid that Li Junlu would fall into the trap. Can I return it at a discount? Isn't it cost effective? Your dad and I will prepare 2 boxes of other things for you later. Yang Sisi had a sarcastic smile on her lips. 2 boxes of what? Quilts, pillows, pots and pans. You won't give them to me if you don't want to, so why bother with all kinds of excuses? Li Junlu was embarrassed for a while, and in a hurry, he boasted, who is looking for an excuse? I have already planned to buy a big wardrobe for you. Really? Thanks a lot, Dad. Yang Sisi thanked her. Worried that 1 second later, Li Junlu would regret it? Li Junlu, Song Hanmi, I felt uncomfortable and muttered, the wardrobe is not much cheaper than a bicycle. Then what do you think we should do? Li Junlu suppressed his anger and growled. Song Hanmi, I said, just prepare 2 boxes of things. I have been to Chin's house today. They have already prepared the dowry, as well as all the furniture and electrical appliances. Li Junlu raised his eyes and turned from anger to joy. Are you ready? Do you have a sewing machine or a TV? Yes, even the bridal clothes are ready. Song Hanmi's tone was sour, and her eyes were full of jealousy and unwillingness. Li Junlu was proud again. The Qin family valued Sisi so much that his position was stable. Have you bought any shoes? Let's buy Sisi a pair of leather shoes to match her new clothes. Song Hanmi said angrily, I'm not going. It's not her biological daughter, so why should she worry? She suddenly remembered and said, Yang Sisi, please explain to me about the dishes. Li Yue's heart suddenly lifted. Yang Sisi looked confused and said, what kind of food? Song Hanmi, half of the vegetables in the cellar are missing. Didn't you send them to your husband's house? Don't you accuse me unjustly. Yang Sisi glanced at Li Yue and cursed, whoever delivers the food to her husband's house is a dog. She has a son without an asshole. She didn't send the food to her husband's house, she gave it to her aunt. Went to my own little home. Li Yue was like a cat whose tail had been stepped on, and her hair was furious. Who are you scolding? I didn't scold you. Why are you anxious? Yang Sisi looked at it and asked, did you steal it? How can I shout when I take my own things? Li Yue realized then and responded to Sici's instructions. Song Hanmi's old face was on fire. At the end of the quarrel, it was her daughter who took it. You made me so angry. Li Yue said aggrievedly, we can't finish our food, what's the matter with giving some away? Song Hanmi slapped her chest directly. Suddenly he rolled his eyes and fell to the ground. Just hear a thud. The father and daughter had no time to react. When they came to their senses, Song Hanmi had already hit the ground, her lips were white, her face was blue, and she didn't know who she was. Yang Sisi only felt happy. Deserved it? Bad woman. Li Yue cried and shouted, Mom! Mom! Li Junlu hurriedly picked up the person and walked out. "Si, come here and help me." Yang Sisi said calmly, "Actually, I know how to treat it. A grandmother in our village once taught me that when she was in Warren, the new sisters in the flower house were disobedient and were often bullied. When my husband fainted, she would massage his acupoints and he would wake up in a short while." Li Yue blushed and had a thick neck. "You treat my mother as an Warren." "Auntie's appearance is not comparable to that of an Warren." Grandma Warren said that those who can be Warrens are all first-rate beauties. They must not only have exquisite facial features and graceful figure, but also have talents. Auntie like this can only do odd jobs at most. End of this chapter. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 90. Chapter 90. You are the only one with more words. Lisa C., have you had enough? If you know how to treat it as soon as possible. Li Junlu was so angry that he felt like he was going to faint. It's Yang Sisi never admitted that her surname was Li. "It's your fault. If you know how to treat it, let me treat it as soon as possible." Li Junlu was really angry. This dead girl did it on purpose. Yang Sisi had enough fun and became serious. "Okay, I'll cure it. Who told me to be kind? Hey, I cured my aunt. It's time for Yue to call me a holy mother. It's a thankless task." Li Junlu glared at Li Yue. "What, the Holy Father? You are the only one who has more words." Li Yue. Yang Sisi asked Li Junlu to lay Song Hanmei down, unbutton her clothes, and then use chopsticks to vigorously poke the opponent's Hague, Beihui, and Yongquan points. No response. Li Yue stamped her feet. "Do you know how to treat her? Are you taking this opportunity to deal with my mother? Last time my mother fainted, why didn't you treat her?" Yang Sisi quietly took out the needle and waved it in front of Li Yue. "Scare the other person into shutting up." Then, Yang Sisi stabbed Song Hanmei's pupil twice. Song Hanmei's eyelids twitched. She opened her eyes and cried out. "My life is so miserable." Li Junlu breathed a long sigh of relief. He was finally awake. Hearing this sound, he should be fine. "I don't see that you still have a chance." "You can't see much." Yang Sisi left. Li Junlu coughed twice in embarrassment. "Hanmei, how are you feeling?" Song Hanmei couldn't hear anything, so she howled for a while, jumped up, picked up the broom and beat Li away. She was really angry. She will fight Feng Erliazi life and death, she admits it. "But if you move your things from home to your husband's house before you get married, wouldn't it mean that you have to give all your hard-earned wealth to the Feng family in the future? What kind of evil did she do to give birth to such a rotten creature?" Li Yue was hit with a stick and ran away screaming, Mom, you are crazy, Dad, help me." The room was in chaos. Finally ended with Li Yue's escape. Yang Sisi still has some unfinished ideas and hasn't seen enough yet. At this time, there was a voice outside. "Is Hanmei at home, Hanmei?" Song Hanmei was in a bad mood and went back to the house to hide. Li Junlu came forward to receive him. When he learned that the other party was borrowing food, he looked embarrassed. "If you had come a day earlier, I would have given it to you, but today's food is quilled." He really couldn't help it. Explain Li Yue's behavior. It would be too embarrassing to spread the word. He said, "I gave it away, there isn't much left." "Your wife said it's several £100, you can't just give it all away, right?" Li Junlu had a blue vein on his forehead. When everyone is short of food, what does she show off? When did you say that? She was talking nonsense. Just for today, oh, neighbors, you help me today and I will help you tomorrow. Let's take care of each other when we are in trouble. Yang Sisi knew that this neighbor's husband's surname was Cheng, and she was called Aunt Cheng. Compared with Aunt Lu, who were greedy for cheap but could help with things, Aunt Cheng only took advantage and liked to make irresponsible remarks. Li Junlu was too proud to withstand Aunt Cheng's moral kidnapping. She also wants to eat the food at home. Once you start this, others will come to borrow it. Is it over or not? What does she eat? She smiled and answered, Auntie, I actually still have some vegetables, but our meat and eggs are gone. Why don't you give me some eggs in exchange? Today's cabbage is only 10 cents a pound, so we will pay 5. I'll give it to you, and use the food money to offset the egg money. What do you think? What, I buy the vegetables myself, and then I produce the eggs, isn't that a loss for me? End of this chapter.